What's going on, friends, followers? Michael McFarland here, the Lake Fork Guide. I'm going to give you a rundown for March 22nd and 23rd. That's yesterday and today. As always, we'll start with the board. Looking back on Saturday and reflecting into last week, massive cool trend again. Thursday, Friday's cold fronts really hurt the temperatures. Our backwaters were up above 60 degrees, 62, 64 degrees. And on Saturday, they were cooler than the main lake, okay? The lake level was 402.94 and falling on Saturday, just 3 days ago. As of yesterday, Monday morning, temperatures are kind of coming back a little bit. Clarity hasn't changed, 0 to 1 foot. And yesterday, the lake was still falling. It went to 402.89, which is about a half an inch, okay? Half an inch a day is pretty good fall, a rate of fall for a giant lake like Fork. And then the storm hit again last night. We're back to really, the backwaters are dirty, no visibility. 403, we're back on the rise. And our temperatures really are still about the same. It was a warm rain kind of deal. It wasn't a real heavy cold front, but it was a cold front that came through last night. Pretty severe flooding. And what you're seeing here, if you look back on the last week's rundown, this is typically what we refer to as the Texas two-step. It's this time of year that we go up and down, up and down. I've been talking about being a roller coaster ride. We warm trend, we cool trend. We warm trend, we cool trend. We average about 2 cold fronts a week. And so what happens is the fish move into and they're out one, and they're into and they're out one. We call it Texas two-step. So they take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, or 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And these cold fronts are the driving force behind that. It gets really good on the warm trends and falls apart on the cold trends. Okay? Yesterday, we started out the morning. Right away, we had a really nice Lake Fork special all the way to the net, and right at the net, the fish got its head back. It was about a 5-pounder, somewhere in that range, and actually broke the line, which usually doesn't happen on 20-pound test. Yesterday was tough. We didn't have any other bites, and the wind got so bad that I cut it to half a day. Today, well, after yesterday's storm moved through and the rain, the flooding and everything, and backwaters were really dirty this morning, we stayed focused on hitting the home run. And we threw swim baits and glide baits all day long. What I mean is the line through swim bait. Okay, it's a soft plastic bait. The line goes through the nose, comes out the belly, and you put a treble hook in the bottom. It's a line through swim bait made by 316 Lures. One of the very best, if not the best, there ever was as far as a soft plastic line through swim bait. Ideal, swims perfect in all conditions. Okay, throwing that, committing with that. Okay, I'm throwing that on points. That's all I'm going to give you. Secondary points and main lake points, specific points only. And the wind is very important to it. The other is a glide bait. And there's a lot of different versions of glide baits that you can use. This one here is a depths. I believe this one is a depths, if I remember right, depths 175. This is a slide swimmer 175 SS. This is an expensive bait. This is a little more than $100. You may not want to throw something like that. Remember a couple things on a glide bait. A glide bait will always be 2 segments, okay? Not 3, 4, 5 or more. 2 only. If it's any more, then it's a swim bait, not a glide bait. So this is a depths. They get even bigger. The depths 250 is 3 times this size, and believe me, the bass on Fork do eat these. What I'm throwing right now, this is what we caught that really nice fish today. Didn't weigh it, but it was somewhere between a good 7 to 8 pound fish. It was a beautiful Lake Fork special that Brian caught this morning. And he caught it on this River to Sea S-Waver. Okay? It's a little smaller version. And this one, if I remember right, is the 168S. Okay? It's perfect for what we do here at Fork, and it's under 50 bucks. Okay? It's not going to break your wallet. I throw that on my signature rod. My CB, real-time, made by real-time rods, the CB 7'10", 1530. All right, now a lot of guys are going to throw these swim baits and these glide baits on fluorocarbon. I have found a really unique line that is a monofilament, but it's super low stretch. So I'm throwing this on 20-pound monofilament with 11% stretch, approximately 11 to 13%. It works just fine. I don't need the fluorocarbon. I'm fishing really, really shallow, and it's made by Mason, M-A-S-O-N. It's called Bass On. I'm gonna go grab one and show you, just so you can see. This is probably the most limp line that I've ever bought for monofilament. It stays limp and it's super, super strong. Even the diameter for 20-pound is very small. So it's really, really nice, long, smooth casting, and it holds up to the wear and tear of these baits and the big bass that we catch on them. So that's kind of the gist. If you're coming this week, coming to fun fish, the big fish that we're catching, we are definitely catching on these baits. I'm not saying that you can't go in the backwaters and find a big bed fish. They're spawning. It's dirty water. You can't see them. So I think your odds are lower. I'm not saying you can't take the V&M chopstick and just go fishing in the backwaters. You'll probably catch fish. Your numbers might be better, and you might get lucky and catch a big one. But if you focalize, your odds increase, okay? And that's what we've been doing. The last couple of days, all my clients have wanted was one big bite. And today we did get the one bite. I would have loved more. My favorite saying, if you know me, is the only thing better than a crawfish dinner is 5 crawfish dinners. So the only thing better than one big bite is 5 big bites and a big old sack. But listen, if you're coming here to fun fish, stop by Lake Fork Resort and get you some V&M chopsticks. Texas smoke is the #1 color right now, but you can catch them on Okeechobee craw. You can catch them on June bug. Shoot, you can catch them on watermelon red. It's a hard color to beat when the sun's shining. All right. The other bait, also at Lake Fork Resort, is the Jackhammer. Okay. This is starting to be hard to get your hands on. The Jackhammer right here is awesome bait. It's a chatterbait, in other words. It really is. It's a tighter chatterbait, and it has a specific patent on the metal that strikes the lead head. That is an obnoxious sound that the big females can't stand. Okay, so I like to throw the 3/8 when I'm in the shallow backwater. You may want 1/2 ounce if you're wanting it to get a little bit deeper. But the 3/8 Jackhammer, any of the whites, white on white is awesome for trailers, and the Beehive Delight is one of my favorite colors. All right, so if you're just coming here to fun fish, or you're here for the tournament and you need the unders, this might be the way to go. One last time, if you want the big ones, stay true to the swim baits and the glide baits. And I'm not the best at that. I'm not really a specialist. I know my way around and we do just fine. But there are guys that are throwing baits 2 and 3 times the size of these, and they're catching big, giant bass. So, man, I really appreciate you watching. This week, we got a new moon coming on Saturday. I really felt like there'd be a big progression of fish moving, coming in. They haven't been. There really hasn't been yet. Being that tomorrow's Wednesday, I don't expect to see it. There may be some fish that come, but I promise you, in the northern ends of the lake, up in Running Creek and Coffee Creek, and on the east side of the lake, and even some in Birch Creek, and in the northern ends of the west side, their fish are on the beds. You got to fish slow, 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 because you can't see them, and they're up in that buckbrush, all right? Definitely get to flipping creatures baits, and again, I'm being redundant. The V&M chopstick is super hard to beat. Get parallel, all right, and 4 or 5 feet of water, and fish parallel down those banks that you think those fish are spawning, and your bait will be on the strike zone a little bit longer. All right, that's my best advice for you. If you're in the mega bass this weekend, I do believe it's probably gonna be at least, I say, a dozen overs caught. There will be big fish brought in on Sunday in this mega bass. Giants, you watch. You can hold me to it. Other than that, man, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for all the comments, all the great thumbs up, all the interaction with me. It means so much. Really, truly, thank you. If you have any questions, comment below. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't found me on Instagram, The Lake Fork Guide on Instagram. If you haven't found me on Facebook, my personal page is full. but you can find the business page, and that is Lake Fork Adventures Guide Service. Please go find that and hit the like button there too. I really appreciate you. I'm Mike McFarland, giving you a Lake Fork rundown.